first minutes of his term. And it's going to shake the world, I think. But this morning is our time. He has already been dancing at a pre-inauguration rally with the village people, singing YMCA, and told an adoring rally some of what he had planned.
We will be sworn in tomorrow. We're going to cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, getting them back down, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to the USA, right where they belong, and that'll be done through tariffs and smart policy. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine, I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening, and you have no idea how close we are.
Joining me is John Honeyraker, President of the Centre for American Progress and writer with the most excellent Powerline blog. John Honeyraker, great to see you again. Big promises the President made in his rally overnight your time, this morning our time. But I have to say, he is sure hitting the ground running. What do you think he's going to do on day one of the return to the presidency?
Well, the report is that on his first day in office, he's going to do like 200 executive actions, of which 100 will be official executive orders. I think Trump has learned a lot from his experience, as you'd expect, having served 4 years as president. I think now he really understands the importance of getting his term off to a fast start. And he also has a much better idea of who he wants on his team. If you think back to some of his cabinet officers 8 years ago, there were some clickers in that group, and that's not true anymore. Now he's got a great group of people around him, and they are just champing at the bit to get this administration going.
Right, so it's going to crack down day one on the border, start throwing out illegal immigrants, etc., etc. I mean, it's going to be, but that's far from all, of course, the end of affirmative action in the military, whatever, and, what is it, diversity, equity, inclusion programs, and unbelievable. This, as you say, this second President Trump is so different from the first one. Let's look at his team. They've been having confirmation hearings in front of the Senate over the last week or a bit. Who do you think is going to be the standout in this team? Who do you think is really going to tear it apart for President Trump?
Well, Andrew, it's hard to say. If the Department of Government Efficiency really gets off the ground and functions, Elon Musk may be the guy who has more impact than anyone else. I think the choice of Marco Rubio to be Secretary of State is fantastic. Marco is a great guy, perfect time in his career. He's young, he's energetic, and he's promised an America First foreign policy, which, of course, is what the American people want. I think he's going to be a star throughout. Pam Bondi, the nominee for Attorney General, I'm hearing terrific things about her. She was the Attorney General of Florida. And I think she's going to do a great job at taking the politics out of the Department of Justice.
Well, I'm going to add one name for you. Chris Wright, in charge of energy. This is that gas tycoon. He says, oh, look, yeah, the planet is warming. It's not pretending it's not, but he's saying America has to have energy. What energy it will be, he doesn't care, but he's very strong on fossil fuels. I think it's going to change the debate, not just in America, but throughout the Western world, about the whole fraud of the global warming, renewable energy scam.
Wind, solar, they're a joke. Chris Wright totally understands that, and he can explain it. I think he strikes fear into the hearts of greenies in America and really around the world.
The inauguration is going to be held indoors this time because of the amazing big freeze in the US. Talk about global warming, you're real short of it now. The guest list is very telling, John. You've got the Prime Minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni's there, President Milei of Argentina. These are conservative superstars. You've got Nigel Farage from Britain. The guest list, looking at it, what does it tell you?
Well, there's a changing of the guard Andrew, there's a changing of the guard in America, but also around the world. I mean, people like Giorgia Meloni, who I just love, the Prime Minister of Italy, doing a tremendous job. She's becoming really almost the elder statesman, of European heads of state, because they've been dropping like flies. And then you've got Milei, who's done an unbelievable job of starting to turn around Argentina, which has just been a basket case in a very short time, using sound conservative policy. So we're seeing this rightward shift around the globe, and it's bringing a lot of optimism to a number of countries.
Yeah, but Donald Trump, right, has made some huge promises again today. End the war in Ukraine. He reckons he's, got that ceasefire in Israel by himself, and I reckon he does take most of the credit for it, or if credit it is. He's going to lower inflation. He's going to stop illegal immigration. He's going to do all these big things. What do you think, after 4 more years of Donald Trump, you are going to say this is the biggest difference that he made to America and to the world?
Oh, that's a big question, Andrew. There are so many possibilities. I think one of the things you have to look at is tone. Ronald Reagan was a great president. He had terrific policies in both domestic policy and foreign policy. He was tremendously successful. But with hindsight, probably his greatest achievement was doing away with the pessimism of the 1970s and showing Americans that our best years were ahead of us, not behind us. We could still be a great force for good in the world. And I think Donald Trump in his second term has an opportunity to do something similar. These 4 years under Joe Biden have been a disaster. Joe Biden has been a terrible president, and obviously, he's senile. We all know that, and that's part of the picture. But that's not the whole picture. This whole administration has been mean-spirited. It's been negative. It's really been anti-American in important ways. It's fostered terrible ideologies like critical race theory, DEI. And I think that maybe Trump's biggest contribution will be to sweep away a lot of that negativity, a lot of that nonsense, and really give Americans the feeling that we're back on the path to greatness. And you can see that right now in Washington, D.C. I mean, that's definitely how people are feeling.